Welcome to Guardian Talks. I'm Temitope. We are asking today, how free is the press in Nigeria and what are the challenges journalists encounter in telling the truth? Joining us in the studio to analyze all of this together is Temitope Olaiya. He's fondly called Templar. He's Guardian News Editor. Stick around. Welcome to Guardian Talks.
Thank you.
Great having you again. Okay, so many people say press freedom is not fully respected in Nigeria. Do you think journalists in Nigeria are truly free to do their jobs?
The question is it's not one way, in the sense that while I agree that there has been some level of abuse from many people who claim to be journalists, because in this age, because of the proliferation of citizens journalism, bloggers, those who do wire service and content creation, it has now drawn a thin line between those who mass produce for content and those who are actually doing real journalism. So because of the abuse in that space, there's been some form of clampdown and some form of SOS over the preponderance of fake news. So if you put them in the basket, press freedom, there are challenges, there are attempts to stifle the expression of free press. Same way, the harm of fake news is also distorting the worldview of what journalism should do in a democracy. And the essence of that is because in a democracy, they say the media is the fourth estate of the realm. What separates dictatorship from democracy is a viral press. And when you have a challenged media, then you are having a quasi-democracy. Because it seems the government is unquestioned. It seems whatever representatives of the people are doing are not checked. The structures of checks and balances in democracy, which you have the judiciary and the legislature, it seems they have been in bed with each other. So there's no difference. We seem to see no difference between the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. So when you now have the media, which is supposed to check and play the policeman, be the guardian, be the custodian of truth and facts, now also challenged. And you now have a situation whereby there seems to be no difference between reporting journalism, a free press, a viral press, and a government megaphone. So you now have, like, what is happening here, gentlemen, can we hold on? Are we just regurgitating government press releases, or we are actually checking the government?
So what you're trying to say now is that it's not that the press is really free, some sort. A little free, but not too free.
Yeah, so in the freedom of it, now you have seen government come up with several measures in the attempt to checkmate the abuse of freedom, which was what I was talking about with the preponderance of fake news. They are now beginning to extend beyond that tax to now go into actually stifling of the press.
Right.
So you say, okay, you want to from attacking fake news, it's now extending to censorship of the media, all in the name of not allowing propagandists to overwhelm governance and lead to other forms of social unrest in society.
Right.
So that line is now where the media is now under threat, because when you have media censorship and you have government or the structure of government and governance actually having a stake in both what the media presents and what the media try to uncover, then what you have at the end of the day is those who don't fall in line are being haunted. And you now have a resort to guerrilla journalism, whereby people now go on the ground. And the danger of that is some will go underground for different reasons. Some will go underground for safety, while some will go underground to further peddle fake news, which is what the government, I've been sure, is trying to avoid.
Right.
Using the media to fan the embers of discord and disunity and the disintegration of a federation.
So the war really, or the battle should actually be against people peddling fake news.
Exactly.
Not the fact out there. I mean, not disseminating facts.
Yeah, you can disseminate facts, but because the bracket, which is media, has been, it's been an all-commerce affair. So you can't really distinguish who actually is a journalist and who is just a content creator,
right,
or who is just a blogger.
Okay.
You know, so when government is responding, they are responding to everybody.
Right.
Both the journalists,
the ones that are doing it right, and the ones that are carrying fake news.
Exactly.
Okay, so in the light of that, you know, with the new Cybercrime Act, specifically that's a section 24, subsection 1, do you think, you know, it was just amended, right? So do you think that some vague words can still be used to target journalists unfairly in that amended section 24, subsection 1 of the Cybercrimes Act?
Very, very true. The Guardian was called out some months back on the basis of a misinterpretation of a story. Doing a report on the public's discontent about government policies and tagging it as a call for or an invitation for military incursion. You see, there are two different things. And when the government was reacting to that story, they were using some sentiments or opinion expressed in the copy, in the story, as the basis of why free expression should be curtailed. So you cannot, some aspects of that cybercrime, you know, is something you can't escape, because democracy in itself is the celebration of free speech,
freedom of speech,
free media, and you know,
freedom of expression.
Freedom of expression. And when you now start gatekeeping, now you are taking the responsibility of the media. The government now wants to be the one who will censor what is right, what is harmful, and what should not be released for mass publication. So in that regard, that is a clear incursion into press freedom. And like I said, using this in the attempt to kill a bird, you now want to cut down the tree. That is in the instance of what is happening. Fine, you may want to target peddlers of fake news, target those who use, especially the mainstream and online means of mass publication to target individuals and peddle falsehood and lies and all that. But in the attempt to address that, you are coming head-on on the institution, in the sense that now everybody is tagged and everybody is branded and everybody is in one boat. So whatever is deemed injurious, whatever they deem as not true. Now there's a difference between when a fact is false and when a fact is when a statement is false. There's a difference between when a statement is false, it's actually outright fake news, and when a statement is it's a developing event that is not yet confirmed. Now, the government can say so and so is not true. That so and so is not true at that material time does not mean the information is actually false. Right. It does mean that the timing is wrong.
Because it's still developing.
Yeah. So if you now say, okay, because of Cybercrime Act, everybody who has run foul of what the government defines to be the truth should be held responsible. That is now clamping down on the industry. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
So if it's a simple thing, let me just use an example. Okay, there was one. Let me use two examples. There was one that happened yesterday. I think a blogger came out to say the president has sacked 2 or 3 ministers. It was denied as outright falsehood. That is on one side. Now, there's a difference between that and saying sources have confirmed that there is an imminent cabinet reshuffle. Who will be affected, we don't know yet. Or maybe some names have been peddled to be affected in the cabinet reshuffle. And the government comes out to say it's not on the president's plate for now. It's focused on governance, it's not focused on 2027. Now, those two scenarios, the person who said so and so ministers have been sacked, outright for fake news, and the one who, by virtue of some privileged information, says the president is pondering to reshuffle the cabinet ahead of 2027. So those are two scenarios. So you can't try to pin down the person who accurately gave that false information about 3 ministers' sacked and use that same law to also pin down the person who, through privileged information, was able to gather that there are developments to the effect that there might be a cabinet reshuffle, because those are two scenarios. So, but now the situation now is whatever the government labels or defines to be its own truth is the truth. There is no alternative facts. So if you want to go further with your alternative fact, it's either you go underground or you do guerrilla journalism.
But there must always be a way for that news body to checkmate whatever information the government is putting out there.
Yeah, that's why we have fact checkers. There are within the institution, there are layers of bodies that address issues of infractions within the media ethics law. You have institutions like the LUJ, you have institutions like the Guild of Editors, you have the Ombudsman Council. Even the government subscribes to that. They report any hearing, publication, or media house to the Ombudsman. And you have the Guild of Editors, then you have the Newspapers Proprietors Association of Nigeria. And that is the way to go. You let those institutions do the internal self-cleansing. Right. But when the government itself is doing that, that is what I meant by incursion into the media.
Okay, so let's look at this year's theme, which has to do with AI, that's artificial intelligence, impact on journalism. So, How is AI changing the media? That's one. And then how could it be a danger to press freedom? Can it be or can it not be a danger to press freedom? First thing first, the impact and the risk.
Yeah, it's the world around us. The world keeps changing every day, and in this age, if you don't step up, you lose out. So it's been slow in coming, but the media from this climb has accepted and embraced AI. It now depends on if you are looking into individual organizations and maybe forms of the space, whether it's broadcast, it's print, it's purely digital. So every media organization, just like we accepted and transited into the digital space, we are also embracing AI. And it's now in the form of at what level. Some is at individual level, individual practitioners, journalists. Some is at a corporate level, it's at the organization level. It's organization-led, some are individual-led. So looking at the risk itself, there's nothing, it's just like this famous advert for a tire company, power without control is dangerous. So anything that is left on its own without some form of gatekeeping, it is actually the core function of the media. It's what we have these days, people complain about of the industry, is because there has been some lax and some slowdown in that last leg of the function of the media, which is gatekeeping. All sorts, you absorb all sorts, but you filter them, what is true, what is accurate, and what is fit for public consumption, and you let out. But these days, the filter is really slack, so everything goes garbage in, garbage out. And in that sense, AI can also be used to propagate, to accentuate both the good and the bad, the good and the ugly. So if there is responsible use of AI, just as you have mainstream organizations who are responsible to their calling, to their cause, to the ethics of the media profession, AI is good to go. But if the same tool in the hands of those who don't mind to jettison ethics of the profession and just all for likes, for clicks, for engagement, the AI will also be used in that way. So right. It's a 50-50
thing.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much for your insight. I mean, we are looking forward to a place where the truth can be told accurately and also hold people accountable for their action. Thank you for your time and thank you for the insight you've shared with us on Guardian Talks.
My pleasure.
You've heard it all. Let's stay truthful and accountable. Thanks for joining us on Guardian Talks. I'll see you next time.